So that's what this is about, Kurt. Australia called for the recognition of a Palestinian state. So he's like,
well,
"Oh, we're gonna get you screwed. We're gonna screw you. We're gonna get you all we're gonna paint you guys as anti-Semites in Australia." And this is what. So when you recognize a Palestinian state, they slaughtered Jews in Australia. Why would they slaughter Jews in Australia?
Well,
that doesn't make
provides them.
Why would Muslims want to kill Jews in Australia if Australia was siding with the Muslims? That doesn't make any sense. So there was a false flag attack in Australia, and we're pretty sure it was engineered by the Mossad. And let's remember that they're calling it an act of pure evil. But let's remind people what an act of pure evil really is. This is an act of pure evil.
False flags are evil.
What Israel's doing in Gaza is called a genocide. And that's pure evil. So they're doing what was done to them in World War II. They're now doing to someone else, so they could steal their land. They're doing So the funny thing about this attack in Australia, so they say there was some Muslims who attacked Jewish people on a beach at the first day of Hanukkah. Is that what it is? And they're having a celebration, and they just started shooting them, right? So has all the hallmarks of a false flag. By the way, it's like a block away from a police department, yet it took 20 minutes for the police to respond.
Jimmy, Australia gave up all their guns after the first mass shooting they had.
That's right.
They gave up all their guns. So how did some Muslims sneak guns in?
Right. And if a Muslim wanted to go shoot Jewish people, why would they go to Australia to do it? Why wouldn't they go to Israel to do it? It doesn't make
I thought they'd go to the sound of the guns.
That's right.
Remember? They go to the sound of the guns.
Here's the weird thing. Candace Owens, did you know this, Kurt? Candace Owens says this. She tweeted this out. She says they have been signaling that a 9/11 style attack is coming the second week of December. Save this tweet. It will age well. That was November 27th of this year. She said that the second week. Oh, well, lo and behold, here we are. And I like this, the Zionist cycle, fake a major attack. Okay, so we got it. So
that's anti-Semitism, Jimmy. I've been talking to some people, and they've set me right.
Just to let you know what happened before we show you the truth, the 2025 Bondi Beach in Australia, it occurred on December 14th at Archer Park near Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. The terrorist attack targeted a Hanukkah celebration, Hanukkah by the Sea, organized by Shabbat of Bondi. Shabbat Shalom. Attended by around 1,000 people on the first day of Hanukkah. Details of the attack: 2 gunmen opened fire from a footbridge overlooking the event using long-barreled firearms, including at least 1 bolt-action rifle, and firing around 50 shots. Authorities declared it a terrorist incident motivated by anti-Semitism. Just like that. No investigation, no nothing. We know what it is. Described by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese as an act of pure evil. Well, I already showed you what an act of pure evil is.
When you said Chabad, I already knew what it was, because that's an international spy ring posing as some sort of religious movement.
Yes. Oh, is that? Okay.
Yes. That's Menachem Schneerson, the one that the Gentiles have. He sounds like a Nazi, the way he talks about non-Jew. But anyway, they're very cagey about if they're Zionists or not, because it's just about all Jews coming together. But at the end of the day, it's about supporting Israel. They're an international, just like ADL is a fake group. They're all fake groups. Yeah. So here we go. There were 15 casualties, including a 10-year-old girl, an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor, and Rabbi Eli Schlanger, who was a London-born Shabbat emissary and event organizer. Other victims, such as Reuven Morrison and Alex Kletman, and at least 1 Israeli citizen and 1 French citizen. Dozens were injured. So there you go. Who are the perpetrators? Well, they say the attacker was a father and son duo. Saeed Akram, 50-year-old father, a licensed gun owner who was shot and killed by police at the scene. Naveed Akram, a 24-year-old, critically injured and hospitalized and is under guard. He was previously known to security agencies. He was investigated in 2019 for potential extremist links, including connections to Islamic State figures. The pair reportedly pledged allegiance to the Islamic State, and the weapons were legally obtained. Legally. That sounds like the authorities' fault, doesn't it?
Sounds like it. Sounds like
been there and they've known about him.
Yeah.
And he got weapons legally.
So they're
somehow.
saying it's ISIS, although let's keep in mind, ISIS is working with Israel in Syria. Whenever an ISIS fighter would get hurt or injured or wounded in Syria, they would get treated in Israel. They would go to Israel. Israel would fix them up. So Israel and ISIS are working together. So if these guys are ISIS, this is Israel.
Wow. And they don't even want a Palestinian kid getting medical help in Florida, and they would help ISIS on
That's
the
right.
battlefield.
So the guy who stopped him was a Muslim. A brave bystander, Ahmed El Ahmed, a 43-year-old fruit shop owner, tackled and disarmed one of the gunmen, wrestling away his weapon in a moment captured on video. So Benjamin Netanyahu first said that was a Jew who did that. So as soon as they try to take over, so you know that they're trying to, this is all propaganda used for a purpose. And the purpose, so let's go right to James Lee. James Lee caught a bunch of stuff. Let's watch.
There's something about this whole thing that just doesn't make any sense.
So what's going on here? What's going on in Australia? Who are the paid actors? Who are they being paid by? And what's the ultimate objective here?
The Jerusalem Post is now pushing a narrative saying that Iran was maybe involved in the Bondi Beach shooting. They say that Israeli authorities are investigating whether state actors, chiefly Iran, were involved in the mass shooting attack against Sydney's Jewish community at Bondi Beach on Sunday.
So you know they want a war with Iran, and this is the way to get their war with Iran. Israel wants a war with Iran. They got Trump to bomb them once already. Within his first couple of months of presidency, Israel was able to get Trump to bomb Iran. So they want to bomb Iran and overthrow them. So Israel has been on for a 30-year, at least, if not more, trying to destabilize the total Middle East. They got Libya overthrown. They got Iraq overthrown. They got Syria overthrown. They're bombing the hell out of Lebanon, and now Yemen, the same thing. And now the final peg is Syria. So I mean, is Iran. So they want this war with Iran, and this is it. And Candace Owens somehow knew this was coming. A lot of other people did too. And here it comes. And so now they're trying to blame it on Iran so they could have a war with Iran. I'm not falling for it, and don't you either.
Senior U.S. official told Fox News that if the Islamic Republic ordered the attack, then the U.S. would fully recognize Israel's right to strike Iran in response.
So this is immediately already, this is greenlighting an attack on Iran. They've already greenlit an attack on Iran. You got to be so stupid not to see this.
Question, Jimmy, how would Israel possibly be able to do that when they've been losing a war in Gaza to civilians they're murdering? That means we got to do it, don't it?
So that would drag us into, that's what that's about.
They can't do it.
Right.
Oh, by the way, neither can we. We couldn't win a war with anyone,
right,
and we have it in 80 years.
That's right.
People call me crazy for thinking events like this might be potentially false flags, right? They say, how can everything be a false flag? But if the first response from Israel and the United States is to say, let's bomb Iran, I think it would be somewhat journalistic malpractice not to investigate that possibility. This is from the Times of Israel, 19th of August, 2025. Quote, in a scathing letter, Netanyahu gives Australian Prime Minister until Rosh Hashanah to act against anti-Semitism.
Or what? So he sent him a letter saying you have until Rosh Hashanah to act against anti-Semitism in Australia. By the way, Candace Owens banned in Australia. Did you know that? Because she said she doesn't like a genocide. And so the Zionist Organization of Australia got her banned. So this is,
what Israel did to Charlie Kirk for that.
So the control that Zionists have is not just in the United States. It's in Australia. It's in the UK. It's in Europe. Look what they did to Jeremy Corbyn. So this is, they have a long tentacles of Israel. Israel, a country of 9 million people. It's unbelievable. They're getting Trump to overthrow Venezuela right now. It's unbelievable. They got Iraq done. They got Libya done. They got Syria done. They want Iran done. It's unbelievable. So here we go. So they threatened Australia. You better do something by Rosh Hashanah or what? Or we're going to kill a bunch of people in your country, which is what they just did.
Or else what?
I wrote, your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire.
So that's what this is about, Kurt. Australia called for the recognition of Palestine. of a Palestinian state. So he's like,
Well,
we're gonna get you screwed. We're gonna screw you. We're gonna get you all we're gonna paint you guys as anti-Semites in Australia. And this is what. So when you recognize a Palestinian state, people they slaughter Jews in Australia. Why would they slaughter Jews in Australia?
Well,
that doesn't make
provides
it. Why would Muslims want to kill Jews in Australia if Australia was siding with the Muslims? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because they were encouraged by siding with Muslims, because they're so crazy, Jimmy. They're not like you and me and Barry Weiss, good people.
Yeah.
Once Australia recognized Palestine, naturally that's going to lead to crazy Muslims
killing Jews,
brazenly shooting Jews, which no one else in Australia can get a gun that easily.
Right.
I don't even understand how they got guns.
Is this what it's all about? Do they actually care about anti-Semitism, or is this just about the fact that earlier this year, the government of Australia recognized Palestine as an independent state? I posted this earlier today. Naveed Akram, one of the alleged shooters in the Bondi Beach attack, was searched in Israel on December 9th. You could see right here the massive spike today once the news broke of the horrific shooting. But if you rewind a couple of days or a few days, December 9th at 4 a.m., there were some pretty significant spikes or search traffic for one Naveed Akram. On that note, where is the police? There is a police station, the Bondi police station, situated literally 1 block away from the shooting.
1 block away.
20 minutes, they shoot, change magazine and just shoot.
With this,
so they were shooting for 20 minutes. They changed magazine, started shooting again. For 20 minutes, the cops are 1 block away. Nothing happened.
What is it, the Pam Bondi police station?
Right? Is this the Pam Bondi police station? Or?
Not be like the worst place to do an attack like this? Could there have been a potential stand down order? I don't know. But something that we do know is that the Mossad is now evidently getting involved. Allegedly, Mossad sent warnings to Australia about anti-Semitic terror attack risks. Like, why is the Mossad getting involved in this? You know, it's kind of like right after Charlie Kirk was assassinated and Netanyahu came out and said, no, this definitely wasn't us. And then the ex-head of Mossad came out, oh, no, we don't assassinate anybody. It's like, well, who the hell was asking you guys? Why are you getting involved in the action? Nobody said anything about you guys until you did.
So great work again by James Lee, 5149. Everybody check out his work.
Guy does good work.
Max Blumenthal reported on paid actors committing acts of anti-Semitism in Australia back in February. We're going to show you his report right after this word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Hey, we live in an age of unprecedented access to information, innovation, and opportunity, but also one of environmental and societal stressors that our biology was never designed for. From microplastics to chronic digital exposure, endocrine disruptors to industrialized food, modern life is hijacking our health at a cellular level, leading to sluggishness, bloating, accelerated aging, and not feeling like yourself. Armra colostrum is nature's original superfood. Colostrum is packed with over 400 bioactive nutrients that promote your body's resilience from the inside out, strengthening immune health, fortifying gut health, and fueling performance so you can stay sharp, strong, and at your best in a world that demands it. We've worked out a special offer for my audience. Receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to armra.com/Jimmy or enter Jimmy to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/Jimmy. Of course, again, there's so many things that don't make sense around these false flags. So here's Max Blumenthal. He said Israel is attempting to blame Iran for a mass shooting apparently carried out by a couple of Salafists that are allied with ISIS. ISIS allied with Israel.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. And ISIS is an enemy of Iran, which has never confronted Israel. So, but there's a much deeper story here, and here's the story. So this is last February. Max Blumenthal explained how Australia was hit with the suspicious wave of anti-Jewish incidents carried out by paid actors, and how Israel. So let's listen to it. This is from last February. Max Blumenthal nailed it back then.
We talked earlier about the Israeli concoction of anti-Semitism. How anti-Semitism often is either faked or exploited in order to advance Israeli objectives and to justify Israel's existence as a supposed sanctuary for the Jewish people. There's a fascinating investigation taking place in Australia, and I think it will soon turn into some kind of cover-up. I tweeted about this a few days ago. Australian police are investigating whether, quote, overseas actors or individuals are paying local criminals to carry out anti-Semitic crimes in the country. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says anti-Semitic attacks are being, this is his words, perpetrated by people who don't have a particular issue, aren't motivated by an ideology, but are paid actors. He added, quote, it's unclear who or where the payments are coming from. The shadow Home Office minister from the opposition party wonders if, quote, a foreign government is engaging in state-sponsored terror. Here's the BBC. Anti-Semitic crimes may be funded overseas, say Australian police. It's been reported, backpaged, but reported in British media and Australian media. And in Australia, the fingers were initially pointed at Iran and Russia, of course. And then once there was no evidence that Iran or Russia were behind this, they stopped pointing fingers, because who would do something like this? Which country would, I don't know, fake anti-Semitism? Well, it reminded me of something that happened at the dawn of the first Trump administration. There were thousands of phone calls and bomb threats to Jewish American institutions like community centers, synagogues. And it turned out, after this whole freak out where the Senate was putting pressure on Trump to condemn this and claiming that because of Trump, there's a rise in anti-Semitism and Jews are in peril because of Trump. You know, this is the New York Times. Threats and vandalism leave American Jews on edge in the Trump era. It turned out that it was an Israeli teen who is a U.S. dual citizen in Israel who was making those bomb threats. Very strange. And Israel tried to actually suppress the identity of that teen. An Israeli-American teenager was found guilty in Israel on Thursday, making about 2,000 hoax bomb threats against Jewish and other institutions in the U.S. during Donald Trump's rise to the U.S. presidency. The incident stoked allegations by some American critics at the time that the Republican contender was encouraging anti-Semitism and other forms of racism. So yeah, it definitely served that purpose. It was just a generalized anti-Semitic freak out over anti-Semitism. It turned out an Israeli was responsible for much of it. Also turns out that Israeli teen, whose name was Michael Kadar, was also using robocalls to target Australian institutions. 590 plus bomb threats in Australia. Schools, Jewish centers, hospitals, and airlines. This is a great section from the Guardian report on Michael Kadar. The teen, identified in U.S. court documents as Michael Kadar, despite a suppression order against revealing his identity in Israel. Why wouldn't we want to know his identity? Was arrested last month by Israeli police. And he was arrested after he wasn't found out by the Israeli police. It was due to an investigation by the Five Eyes, and I think primarily Australia. A spokeswoman for Victoria Police said Israeli police who made the arrest acknowledged that they could not have done it without us. So it was the Victoria Police e-crime squad, not Israel, that caught this teen. So what's going on here? What's going on in Australia? Who are the paid actors? Who are they being paid by? And why would this, what's the ultimate objective here? And could this be limited to Australia? Or has this been taking place in other Western countries since October 7th?
My guess is that the paid actors are being paid by Israel to concoct anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitism is the fuel of Zionism and the state of Israel. Without anti-Semitism, it doesn't exist. So it has to go concoct it. So it's paying people to go commit these acts of anti-Semitism so they can point to these acts of anti-Semitism so they could shut down debate online, and so they can control the narrative so people only get the pro-Zionist point of view, just like they've done to TikTok and now a sixth of the entire media in the United States. They've done that here. So that's what this is about, and he's onto it. Good.
That's familiar, doesn't it? Does it sound familiar? Because I remember, and all these conservatives that are going to buy this bullshit, remember when BLM people were faking hate crimes right and left,
right
fake
and left.
nooses, fake horseshit everywhere.
Jesse Smollett.
You think Israel wouldn't come up with that plan if these idiots came up with that plan?
Is it anti-Semitic to point a finger at the one settler colonial state that benefits from anti-Semitism, that justifies its existence on the proliferation of global anti-Semitism, and which has historically exploited the plight of Jews around the world for its own benefit? I don't know. We'll keep following that investigation. I think it's always important to highlight stories that are on the public record but aren't getting adequate attention. especially as we enter a Trump era where the Republican Congress and Trump administration are going to milk the anti-Semitism freak out to actually criminalize Palestine solidarity activism in a way we have never seen before.
Iran was recently accused of targeting a deli in Bondi. No kidding. The Hasbro's.
Deli.
There it is. Iran targets Bondi Deli. No kidding.
Is it because there was Epstein files on their desk?
So is that right? Is that what it is? So Israel blamed Iran for a recent firebombing in Melbourne synagogue. By the time the Australian police said that Iran had nothing to do with it, it was too late. Our own prime minister was blaming Iran too. So now here's a guy who was at the Bondi Beach shooting. This guy's name is Arsen Ostrovsky. And it's just because I guess he hasn't gotten around to changing his name yet. So he sounds more Semitic.
Or wiping his face down before he went on camera, right?
So he says, I lived through October 7th. Never imagined I'd see this horror in Australia. But why? So you happen to be at October 7th and at this place too at the same time? That's what a coinky dink.
And no one washed your face when they put a bandage on your head from being grazed? That's weird.
A bullet grazed his head, Kurt. Doctor said, miracle, he survived. Another miracle!
Oh, well, leave the blood on your face for 5 days and don't wash it.
Tonight is the first of Hanukkah, the forces of darkness. So that's him. And he's a big influencer in Israel. He's an Israeli influencer. Top 50. He was chosen as the top 50 Israeli influencers.
Whoa, the
but guess what?
trustworthiness is off the charts, Jimmy.
Margaret Kimberly tweets out, so one of the biggest propagandists on behalf of Israel just happened to be in Australia when a suspiciously timed mass shooting takes place that was predicted by Candace Owens. By the way, no need to hide the image. It's just a guy with a bandage, and for some reason, nobody wipes the blood off his face.
Notice that too, did you, Margaret?
So guess what? He survived October 7th and the Bondi Beach with the same injuries.
Oh, that's never going to heal.
The same injuries.
Oh, what are the odds, Jimmy?
So there he is on October 7th. Here he is at Bondi Beach. And guess what? Here he is. Oh, getting makeup put on.
Well, I find
and guess what? I put that through Grok. Grok says that looks legit. That doesn't look AI generated. So I can't say for certain it's not AI generated, but Grok says it's likely authentic.
Also, because the words he said were stupid lies, and he was at both places, so you could just tell from that without even having to ask Grok.
That's right. And why wouldn't he wipe the blood off his face? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense unless it was being painted on.
Is that why Ben Shapiro posted like a roast veal and said it was kids?
Yeah, remember that? I like this. I like this. This is great. PSYOP 2025, Islamic terror. Oh, look. And let's read.
It's hard for people to understand. Think about how Vietnam, the U.S. faked that to go to Vietnam.
Yes.
And now keep in mind that Israel does that.
So,
is it hard?
So here's an ex-Mossad agent on 60 Minutes before it was taken over by Barry Weiss and the Ellison Zionist family. They were interviewing a guy from Mossad. This is probably why they bought CBS, because they can't have this stuff getting out there. So this is a guy who was Mossad explaining to you how Mossad runs the whole world. Watch this.
How did you convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying.
So they're talking about the pagers. When Hezbollah bought pagers, and Israel and the Mossad had rigged them to blow up, and they blew off, they killed kids, they blew off the hands and fingers of babies, stuff like that. So he's asking about that. She's asking about that.
From Israel?
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel. Shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
He's bragging, by the way. Leslie Stahl isn't exposing this.
Right. They're bragging about it.
You're supposed to be like Michael Rappaport, that genius, going, ha, 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 ha,
Yes.
and not disturbed by what this guy just said that should disturb the shit out of you.
So we create the theater, and you believe it to be real, and it's all created by us.
Well, can't blame him for not respecting us, can I?
So there you go. And here's just one more. In September, Wyatt Reed reported that Israel established the narrative that Iran was behind attacks on Jewish institutions in Australia. The still unproven claim prompted Canberra to sever ties with Iran, but clearly did little to promote security. So this is the game that they're playing. They want war with Iran, and this is just another way to get it. And if you believe otherwise, there's lots of other shows for you to watch out there, I guess. I guess you can go watch somebody's show on the Daily Wire. You could go watch
the guy from that band with the old time. Go watch.
Yeah,
Mumford
that's
Jr.
right. Go watch the Mumford guy. There's lots of shows you can watch. There's Ben Shapiro's show.
He got kicked out of the band because they were just pure Satanists and he was Zionist Satanist, so they couldn't stay together.
All right, and if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me January 11th in Waikiki at the Blue Note, and we'll see you January 30th in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Hey, come see me on tour January 11th in Waikiki, Hawaii, and January 30th in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.